Hey everyone, welcome back. When people talk about home defense, most of the advice sounds great, right up until you picture it actually happening inside a real house. Tight hallways, low light, your heart is racing, no perfect stance, no second chances. This isn't a shooting range, and it's definitely not an action movie. So today, we're answering a very specific question. What actually stops a threat inside a home in 2026? Not what looks cool, not what's trending online, but what delivers real stopping power when everything goes wrong. This list isn't ranked by price, popularity, or brand loyalty. It's ranked by one thing only: how effectively a firearm can end a threat fast. In real-world home defense conditions, some choices will be expected. Others might surprise you. Before we get into the rankings, it's important to clarify how these guns are being judged. This list isn't about brand popularity, price, or what looks impressive on paper. It's about what works inside a real home. Stopping power here means how quickly and reliably a firearm can end a threat in close quarters. That includes how controllable it is under stress, how consistent it performs with defensive ammunition, and how easily effective follow-up shots can be delivered. Recoil, handling in tight spaces, and simplicity all matter more than raw specifications. A gun that hits harder but is difficult to control can be less effective than one that delivers slightly less force more reliably. That's why some platforms rank higher than others, even when they use similar ammunition. With that in mind, let's start the countdown. Let's start with something controversial right away. A handgun at the bottom of a stopping power list. Yes, and there's a reason it's still here. The Glock 17 doesn't hit the hardest. It doesn't overwhelm a threat with raw force. What it does offer is instant accessibility. In real homes, threats don't always give you time to grab a long gun, shoulder it, and get set. Sometimes, what's already in your hand is what matters most. With modern defensive 9mm ammo, shot placement becomes the deciding factor. And the Glock 17 makes that easier than most pistols, thanks to its balance, controllability, and full-size grip. In tight spaces like bedrooms or narrow hallways, that control can mean faster follow-up shots and fewer mistakes under stress. Make no mistake, this ranks low because physics is physics, but practicality keeps it on the list. For many households, this is also the firearm people train with the most, and that familiarity can quietly outweigh raw power when decisions have to be made in seconds. This is where control starts beating raw force. The Ruger PC Carbine takes the same 9mm round and gives it a serious advantage: stability. A shoulder-fired platform dramatically improves accuracy, especially when adrenaline wrecks fine motor skills. Inside a home, that means more hits where they actually matter. Recoil is minimal. Muzzle rise is easy to manage, and mounting a light or optic is straightforward. For people who struggle with shotgun recoil or simply shoot better with a carbine, this platform closes the gap more than you might expect. But let's be clear, this isn't a shotgun replacement. The stopping power comes from consistent hits, not overwhelming energy. That's why it ranks below any gauge of shotgun. The shoulder-fired design also shortens the learning curve for newer users, especially those transitioning from pistols to a more stable defensive platform. Still, for apartments, shared homes, or shooters prioritizing control, the PC Carbine is a very real defensive option in 2026. This is where the list makes a clear jump in stopping power. A 20-gauge shotgun doesn't sound intimidating until you understand what it delivers in a real home defense scenario. With the right defensive loads, it offers significantly more stopping power than any handgun or PCC, while cutting recoil enough to stay controllable for a wider range of shooters. That balance is the key reason it ranks here. Faster recovery between shots, less fatigue, and better control under stress all translate to more effective threat-stopping capability. For many people, this is the strongest gun they can actually use well. It doesn't outperform a 12 gauge in raw force, and that's why it doesn't climb higher. But compared to everything below it, the jump in real-world effectiveness is undeniable. This balance makes it especially suitable for households where more than one person may need to rely on the same firearm. Different defensive ammunition behaves differently, and not every shotgun handles that well. Some run soft loads smoothly, but struggle with hotter shells. Others do the opposite. In a home defense context, that inconsistency directly affects stopping power. The Renegade security is built to remove that variable. Its gas system adjusts automatically, keeping recoil impulse and cycling behavior stable across a wide range of loads. That stability matters because it reduces disruption between shots. Less disruption means faster recovery, better control, and more reliable follow-up hits when stress peaks. Instead of delivering the hardest individual hit on this list, the Renegade focuses on repeating usable performance. Shot placement and timing improve when the gun behaves predictably, regardless of ammunition choice. That reliability under mixed conditions is what places it ahead of simpler platforms that may hit harder but behave less consistent. This consistency is especially noticeable when switching between reduced recoil and full power defensive loads without changing how the gun handles. Most home defense encounters happen in narrow, cluttered spaces where movement matters as much as firepower. Long barrels and awkward balance turn corners into obstacles, while overly compact designs sacrifice control. The 590S Tactical avoids both extremes. This shotgun keeps full 12-gauge capability in a layout that remains manageable inside real houses. Its proportions allow controlled movement through hallways and doorways without giving up the authority that defines shotgun stopping power. That balance is what elevates it beyond entry-level options. The pump-action system further reinforces reliability. Every shot delivers full output, independent of gas pressure or cycling speed. When ammunition varies or conditions degrade, that mechanical certainty ensures consistent terminal performance. It also allows users to choose ammunition based on preference, rather than worrying about cycling reliability. Up to this point, most of these picks are guns people agree on. Practical, familiar, hard to argue against, but from here on out, the list gets a lot more personal. These next choices aren't just about what works, they're about how you want to solve the problem. Some of you will prefer speed. Others trust simplicity. Some care about how a gun handles after the first shot, not just the first hit. And that's exactly why the rankings start tightening from here. So, quick question before we continue. When it comes to home defense, do you lean toward control, raw force, or absolute reliability? Because the next few entries each take a different approach to stopping a threat. And depending on how you answer that question, your personal number one might already be changing. Let's get into the top half of the list. The Benelli Supernova ranks here because it is built to manage powerful defensive loads without sacrificing control. Unlike lighter pump shotgun, its reinforced internal structure and stock design allow it to handle heavy buckshot and slug loads consistently, which directly affects stopping power. Recoil management is one of its defining traits. The stock geometry directs recoil straight back rather than upward, helping the shooter stay on target between shots. In practical terms, this means faster realignment after each trigger pull, especially when firing full power loads indoors. The pump action itself is large and easy to manipulate, reducing the chance of short stroking under stress. That mechanical certainty ensures each round delivers its full potential, regardless of ammunition type. While it cannot match the speed of semi-automatic shotguns, each shot carries significant authority. This balance of durability, recoil control, and per-shot effectiveness places the Supernova above lighter pump guns, but below the fastest semi-automatic platforms in this ranking. Few defensive firearms have been used, abused, and relied upon as extensively as the Remington 870. Its reputation isn't built on innovation or speed, but on decades of real-world use, where consistency mattered more than convenience. The pump-action design delivers full power with every shot, independent of ammunition pressure or cycling behavior. That matters in home defense because defensive loads vary widely, and reliability cannot depend on fine tolerances. The steel receiver and heavy barrel profile add weight, but that weight contributes to stability and recoil control when firing buckshot or slugs. Another factor separating the 870 from lighter platforms is durability over time, parts availability, long-term wear resistance, and simple internal geometry make it a shotgun that keeps working long after others start showing fatigue. That long service history also means most issues are well understood and easily corrected, even outside professional settings. While it lacks the speed of modern semi-automatics, it compensates with predictability and mechanical clarity. This platform ranks here because it delivers proven stopping power without relying on technology, electronics, or timing-sensitive systems. The Beretta A300 Ultima Patrol approaches stopping power through efficiency, not brute force. Its gas-operated system reduces recoil and allows faster follow-up shots compared to manual actions. That reduced disruption between shots translates into tighter shot placement under stress. In indoor environments, the ability to keep rounds on target quickly matters more than raw shell energy alone. The design also prioritizes reload efficiency. Enlarged controls and an open loading port reduce time lost during ammunition management, which can become a critical factor in prolonged defensive situations. Ergonomics here are not cosmetic. They support sustained, controlled use when fine motor skills degrade. This design reduces the mental load on the user, allowing more focus on decision-making rather than manipulation. That predictability becomes more valuable the longer a defensive situation lasts. While it doesn't match the absolute durability of heavier platforms, the A300 excels in situations where speed, control, and ease of operation directly increase effective stopping capability. Consistency under sustained fire defines the Benelli M4. This platform is built to function across a wide range of ammunition types, while maintaining stable cycling and recoil behavior. Its gas system was designed to handle variation without adjustment, allowing the shotgun to continue operating reliably as conditions change. That matters in defensive scenarios where ammunition selection, shooter position, and firing cadence are unpredictable. Each shot behaves similarly to the last, reducing surprises when pressure is highest. Weight plays a role here. The M4 is not light, but that mass absorbs recoil and keeps the gun settled during repeated firing. The result is controlled shot delivery rather than rapid but erratic output over multiple shots. This stability contributes directly to stopping effectiveness. This position reflects sustained performance rather than first shot impact, placing the M4 just below the most dominant option on the list. What separates the top position from everything below it is not raw power, but how efficiently that power is delivered under pressure. The Beretta 1301 Tactical Mod 2 stands above the rest because it combines full 12-gauge authority with speed that remains controllable. Its gas system cycles exceptionally fast, but speed alone isn't the advantage. The real benefit is how little the gun disrupts the shooter between shots. Recoil is absorbed and returned straight back, allowing the muzzle to settle quickly and consistently. That means less time spent recovering and more time delivering effective shots where they matter. In practical terms, this shortens the gap between decisive hits rather than simply increasing rate of fire. Weight also plays a role, lighter than many competing platforms. The 1301 remains easy to maneuver in tight spaces without feeling unstable during firing. Controls and ergonomics support rapid manipulation without demanding precision hand movements, which matters when stress peaks. This combination, fast cycling, controllable recoil, and practical handling, results in the shortest gap between effective shots. That is what defines stopping power at the highest level, and why the 1301 sits at the top of this list. Home defense isn't about owning the most aggressive or expensive firearm. It's about choosing a platform that performs reliably when conditions are far from ideal. This ranking reflects that reality. Shotguns dominate this list because physics favors them in close quarters. Their ability to deliver decisive force with fewer variables makes them uniquely effective inside a home. But as you've seen, not all shotguns solve the same problem, and not every household has the same needs. Control, ammunition choice, and familiarity matter just as much as raw stopping power. A platform that looks perfect on paper means little if it's difficult to manage under stress. If there's one takeaway here, it's this. The best home defense gun is the one that allows you to stop a threat quickly, safely, and decisively in your own environment. Drop your thoughts below. What do you trust, and why?